Remastered Edition, and we are going to hear a few words from the man himself, Mr. Don Coscarelli.
Boy! The whole man himself. Oh my God.
There you go, sir.
Thank you, thank you. Nice to see you all out here tonight, and thanks so much, Tony, for inviting me to the inaugural edition of Phantasm with an F.
You like the name? Yes, you like it.
Yeah, where did you get that, by the way?
I pulled it out of my hat. My hat.
Yeah, no, that's good. But hey, great to be here. I've met a number of you guys out here today, and it's been a load of fun. And it'll be fun to watch Phantasm on the big screen. Now, are we going to watch on these, back here?
Well, on the sides.
On the side. Oh, so you get it in like stereo? Are you going to play it on both?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, wow. I've never had dueling monitors at once. That'll be cool. Interesting to see. Hey, so unfortunately, I brought a little video presentation along, which due to the difficulties of technology, we are unable to play today, so I'll have to give you a little verbal rundown. But I told a few of you about how one of the things that I'm shamelessly plugging on this visit and very proud of is we've got a new box set of all the Phantasm movies on Blu Ray, which comes with a scale model of a Phantasm sphere, which is pretty cool. But most exciting is we got a new Dolby Atmos sound mix and a remastered Phantasm 2. Because I don't know if many of you know about this, but the original Phantasm, which you're going to see tonight, received an X rating from the Motion Picture Association when it first came out. And this would have just been devastating because they wanted us to cut the entire chrome sphere brain drilling scene, 100%. And they would accept nothing less. And I don't know how the distributor managed to get it past them and get them to accept our cut. I heard a rumor that he went over there to a meeting with a bottle of very high-priced Chivas Regal Scotch, and they then went ahead and gave us our R rating. That's, as far as I know, that is the reason we were able to show Phantasm 1 that way, and that's what the version that we're going to see tonight. But back to this box set, when we came out with Phantasm 2 10 years later, this Motion Picture Association, these guys had a really long memory. And they were saying these things like, oh, parents complained about the original Phantasm, and we're not going to allow you to do that this time around. And so subsequently, they insisted that the sphere drilling scene, which in Phantasm 2, we killed a Catholic priest for, by the way, I was born a Catholic, and the film was ultimately banned by the Catholic Church, so we know where I'm going after I die, all right? But in any case, so for the past 30 years, all of us have watched Phantasm 2, where the ball comes flying down and it hits the priest in the head, and he quivers for a moment, and then he flops on the ground into a giant pool of blood, and you have no idea where the blood came from. So now, in the new box set, we've got the original version, and I was shocked when we dug this negative out, and I watched, that priest gets drilled for about 25 seconds, and he screams the whole way, and I thought, well, that's kind of cool. So I'm very happy to share that with you when the new box set comes up. So I've talked enough about the box set. Phantasm 1 made it long time ago, and I have to tell you, it's one of the blessings of my life, the response to it, the friendships that I made with these actors that you will see tonight. Michael Baldwin, he was a smart aleck 13-year-old kid when we shot the movie. He's still kind of a smart aleck today, but he's become a great lifetime friend, much like Bill Thornberry, who plays his brother, really wonderful musician and actor. Kat Lester, who plays the lovely Lady in Lavender, and Reggie Bannister. Have any of you guys out there met Reggie at a convention before? Anybody out there met him? Nobody? Yeah. You've got to sometime, because he is the character in real life. And then, of course, the wonderful Angus Scrimm. And so, I know most of you have heard that Angus passed in January of 2016, and it was a huge blow to the Phantasm team. I mean, we all loved Angus, and he would have loved to have been here tonight. So, Angus, we're going to dedicate this screening to you tonight. Wish you could be here. And so, I think we maybe answer a few questions. You got anything you want to talk about?
Okay, first of all, you brought up Phantasm 2. For those that haven't seen it, they recast the character of Michael. Was that a particular hard thing for you to deal with, that the studio wanted it recast?
Yeah, it was a weird development because for one of the few times in Phantasm history, there was a studio executive who knew and liked horror films, and under his watch, let's see, what did he do? He greenlit Army of Darkness. He greenlit a couple of Wes Craven movies. He greenlit 2 John Carpenter movies, the Prince of, what's the name of that? Prince of Darkness, and there was another one that came out that time. I think it was They Live. I'm not positive. I think it was They Live. Anyway, this guy loved horror, and he wanted to do a Phantasm sequel, so it was great. We had the most money of any Phantasm movie, and he turned it over to his junior executives, and they decided we needed to have a working actor to play the role of Mike and wanted a different actor, and it was really a challenge. We got a wonderful actor in James LeGros. We're talking too much about Phantasm 2. We should talk about Phantasm 1. But at any rate, when I got around and was able to make Phantasm 3, I was able to bring Michael Baldwin back in, and we shot him in that Phantasm 3, and then Michael Baldwin's in 1, 3, 4, and 5. So it's confusing and puzzling, just like a Phantasm movie.
Right, exactly. They are edited very sporadically. Now, being 40 years later, is everything still fresh to you when you think about it?
Clear as a bell.
Clear as a bell?
I'm kidding.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember any of the reasons why I did anything on that film, but I did.
Did you own the car personally, the Barracuda?
Interesting story about the Barracuda. This is the Plymouth Muscle car, which is a co-star in the movie. You know, I had this idea that we would have a car chase of a car versus a sphere, which, not car versus a sphere, car versus a hearse, which I thought was a pretty cool idea. And I wanted to have the one brother shoot a shotgun at the car. And I'm kind of giving away, hey, by the way, how many people have never seen Phantasm? Anybody? We've got 1 Phantasm, a couple of Phantasm virgins, so enjoy it, it'll be fun. But anyway, I wanted the brother to pop out through this, you know, shoot the shotgun. So we cut a hole, sacrilege, in this beautiful car and put this aftermarket sunroof in so he could pop out through the sunroof and shoot the car. So we did that, but the problem was that this thing never held water out. So when it rained, it leaked. And so after the film was over, one of the crew members took the car to his house and had it there. And after about a year, he called up and says, well, what do you want me to do with this car? It's all moldy and full of water. And I said, yeah, just sell the thing. You can keep the money. That'll be your storage fee. So he sold it to somebody, and God knows whatever happened to the car. But a weird thing I found is that you can go on YouTube and see it after Phantasm was over, because there's an episode of that old TV series called Chips about the highway patrol guys. And if you search Chips and Phantasm Cuda on YouTube, you'll find this clip that some diehard fan found, where there's an episode of Chips, and this action scene takes place in this used car lot, and there behind the featured car is the Phantasm car parked there for sale. So it was like at a real car lot. It was for sale there. It's crazy weird.
Oh, it was an actual car lot. It wasn't.
Yeah, they filmed at a real car lot, and the Phantasm car was there for sale back in 1979 or 81 when they made Chips.
Wow.
Yeah.
So someone has it and probably doesn't even know that they have it.
I bet it's probably scrapped because of the mold issues.
Okay, well, thank you for.
Hey, no questions from the audience?
Questions from the audience? Anybody?
Gotta be one. Oh wait, what is my favorite Phantasm film? Obviously, original Phantasm, which you're going to watch tonight. You know, I made it at a really young age, and I just made lifetime friendships with these actors and many of the crew, and that, you know, it's so shocking that people still today would be interested and would want to see it on the big screen, and it's just cool. I'm very, very happy and have such wonderful fans who enjoy the movie and have kept it alive for all of these years, 40 years if you can believe it. Crazy.
Sorry. Any other questions? Okay.
Do you have any idea when the release date for your box set's coming out?
That's a really good question, because there was some hang up with some politician had some problems in China, so there's some tariff issues, and our spheres are being created in China. And I saw a proof, and they look awesome.
We saw
but
that.
It was supposed to come out October 22nd. It's been pushed back. I think around Thanksgiving, or at the worst, first week of December. Yeah. Good question, but yeah.
Another question? Anybody? Okay.
Yeah, you know, they actually do. Yeah.
What was your inspiration for the tall man?
Hey, that's a good question. I probably, one of three. It would be Karloff, Lugosi, or Vincent Price. I was a kid, I grew up watching those classic movies, and I just loved all of those guys. And, you know, as we moved into the 70s, the 80s, and today, it feels like the classic horror movie villain is kind of evaporated. And I always am really happy and proud of Angus's performance, because it was very direct, very sinister. There's not too much joke. He's got a few comic moments, but not too much joking around. He's dead serious. And, you know, Angus Scrimm had an ability to conjure up something from the darkness of his own heart. God knows where it came from. He'd be very normal in person, but it's almost like when he was on camera, he'd rise up and be taller, if you can believe it, and he'd look at you, pin you with that glare. It's really something to see in person.
Now, speaking of his performance, like you mentioned, was his facial contortions direction from you, or something he came up with himself?
I think 100% him. Yeah, I really didn't micromanage his performance. You know, it was, you know, the first time when he slapped, well, okay, I don't want to give away any more spoilers. So yeah, he created it all. So.
Any other questions? Okay.
So when you made Phantasm, was there any like horror films that sort of like inspired you to make it, or things that you thought of in terms of when you wrote it? And was the writing the script, had you written it long before it was made, or was it around the same time that it was made?
No, it was made to order. I started it in, you know, the year before, finished it, and then luckily was able to find the funding, because it was so low budget, and make the film. You know, inspirations, I grew up with the classic horror movies, you know, from the 30s, you know, watching those on TV. A lot of science fiction movies with horror elements that really inspired me. I think the one that I quote most, and probably the one that I drew a lot from, was William Cameron Menzies' 1954 movie Invaders from Mars. If you've never seen it, it's a wonderful movie. It's about a kid, a Martian spacecraft basically lands in a field behind his house. And he's a very sharp kid, and nobody believes him that there are Martians and they're taking over. And I kind of took that as inspiration, and, you know, had my character, a Mike, where he's witnessed all these things in the mausoleum, but nobody would believe him. So a lot of that. And then so the great literary inspirations, Ray Bradbury, Something Wicked This Way Comes, a great book. If you haven't read it, check it out. So.
Another question? Nobody?
Well, thank you all for coming out tonight and supporting Tony and Phantasm, and hope you guys enjoy the show. And I'll see you all tomorrow, hopefully.
Don Coscarelli, ladies and gentlemen.
We love Beastmaster.